Good afternoon. Today, I'm very happy to welcome Jaiden Frost. He's a filmmaker and author of a new novel called Cult of Carnival. How are you, Jaden? Thank you very much for joining the live.
I'm fine. How are you?
Fine, fine. Thank you very much. And also, whom we have today with you, two of the talents of the novel. Can you introduce them?
Yes. This is Thomas Gervasi, and
Okay.
they played Harker in Cult of Carnival, and this is Allie Duffy, and she played Kara in Cult of Carnival.
Great. Great. I've been reading a little bit in Cult of Carnival and also watching some of your past work. And first, I want to ask you before Cult of Carnival, tell me a little bit about your directorial efforts and your work as a writer. I've seen you work in film and television before.
Yes. So, long story short, I was a ghostwriter in Hollywood for 10 years, working on things with HBO. That was actually one of my first projects, True TV, the Food Network, and then I would later go on to start writing things for Warner Brothers, TriStar, and that type of stuff. Really just doing a lot of the term used to be script doctoring. I don't really hear that used a lot anymore, but pretty much just kind of consulting. And then adding things in here and there, rewriting things for other screenwriters to take because kind of the process of being a screenwriter is most of the time when you see a writer's name on a movie, there was 15 of us underneath that got the screenplay just to get to that person. That's usually how the studio system works. And then on an independent level, I've been a music video director as well as doing a whole bunch of other things, working for Haunts, which is how I met my actors here today. And then also kind of just really refining what I wanted. I started in the horror genre and then working in music videos, and then things would go on, and then I would kind of continue to work in that realm. But it wasn't until last year, I want to say, right, it was actually 2 weeks before the writer's strike, is whenever I officially stepped away from Hollywood. And then the writer's strike happened, and the way I like to describe it is for the first time in my career, I wasn't the crazy guy yelling at clouds. I was like, look, I told you guys this is what's going on, and finally everybody got to see that. And but by then, I had started working on this venture, and doing paper movies has brought me more personally, internally, as an artist, financially, as a businessman, everything. It has done more for me as a whole than being in the film industry ever has. Because even though I love movies so much, which is what this is, I mean, that in reality, it's a movie that plays out on paper. I still love cinematic storytelling more than literally anything. But at the end of the day, the industry can be so toxic and vile. And if your name isn't what they, if your name can't make somebody money, it won't be used. And just the amount of things I've seen in television, the amount of things I've seen in the movies and music videos, all these things, and then not my name's nowhere near it, and knowing that I worked on it, it's kind of heartbreaking. So now that I'm 34, I've kind of stepped into this realm. So that's kind of a long-winded take in a very short way of my very, very long and annoying career.
Yes. And tell me right now, I'm very familiar with comics and graphic novels, but I felt like Cult of Carnival mixes, the regular novel that we can buy and read from anywhere, and also the illustration of a graphic novel. So tell me about a little bit about why you call it like a paper movie, and how did you work with the actors to create this concept and to create this illustration that highlight the ideas and the concept and the events in the novel.
Well, so I first came up with this idea back in 2009. I did my first short film, and very long story short on that one, the actor that was supposed to be in it decided he was going to get drunk and just didn't show up. So I myself have autism, so the idea of being in front of a camera at that time, like right now, I'm actually rather good at it because it took me a long time of training to get to this point. But back then, I was terrified. So what I ended up having to do is I was the only person who knew the lines as well as they needed to be done. I stepped in and did a very terrible job in this very terrible short film, and unfortunately, it went viral. and I got mocked for it. It was all over 4chan. They called me the sepia tone genius. I was a meme on a lot of places. It was really rough. So what I did was I took the film down, and then I decided because of this, my bad acting, I was like, I'm going to fix this. So I came up with an idea of doing a graphic novel version of it, and then that failed. No one was interested, and honestly, it's because the format was wonky. It just didn't work. Over the next
Yes.
10 plus years, I would continue to do this and kind of return back to this concept and return back and try to see if I can make this work. Until eventually, finally, what I did is it was in 2021, I tore my piriformis muscle and I was no longer to walk. I could not walk for probably 4 or 5 months. And at this point, because I have white coat syndrome as well, I'm like terrified of doctors. I was like, I don't want to go see a doctor. I just like I will deal with this pain, and I just took ibuprofen, and it was like if I never walk again, I'm gonna have to figure this out. And that's where I really started developing the idea of creating paper movies. And what it is kind of coming into this is it's a screenplay essentially, where each one of these frames are shot with real actors. The actors have real input on everything, and then they're actually able to kind of compose and create a performance essentially. And that is what what we do specifically like with them is like I signed them to contracts, both of them. I have signed Thomas to 3 paper movies. I have signed Ali to 5. And what we're going to do is kind of continue to build this. So the process in working with the actors is that I will actually bring them in, and once it's done being written, they will receive the script, and then they will go through it and decide how their characters will work with one another. We can do table reads and this type of stuff, and then they will actually rewrite any dialogue that they feel does not actually work with their characters. And then from that point, we kind of step into performing on set, and then that's whenever we'll go in and start capturing the images that go hand in hand with this. Is there anything you guys want to talk about with capturing the images and how to perform? Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of, I won't say it's difficult. It's very fun and intriguing, the difficultness of trying to get those facial expressions and emotions conveyed just through 1 or 2 pictures. It's something that it was definitely a little challenging when I first was told, okay, stand in the forest, something like that. But it was definitely fun when I figured out exactly what I needed to convey to Thomas's character.
Yeah, going on that, it was very difficult to try and like put everything that we're trying to say down into one photo. Like, we'd be sitting there at like Harper's desk, and he'd be like, "Okay, so portray that you're seeing visions of your dead sister who's been dead since you were 6." And it's like, how are we gonna get this in one photo?
And that's kind of one of the fun things. I was really impressed with both of them, honestly, because giving them and the way my wife, because my wife is my special effects makeup artist, and she's my frequent collaborator. And the way that she described it to me before we went into this, she's like, "This is very much so we're stepping back into the silent pictures, where you have the text that comes in with the slates, the way that it used to be, where you have these certain words, and then it goes right back in. You've seen the images, and kind of you're building these worlds." And that's kind of what it was like on set. Like I would tell them, "Hey, we need this," and I would direct them. And that was one of the things. Like I don't know how familiar you or a lot of you guys are in the silent pictures. I myself am a big fan of them. There was a lot of direction coming from the director, and there was a lot of problems actually for the first like 2 years of silent movies, where a lot of these directors kept talking. They'd be like, "Okay, so I didn't maybe start feeding what I would do to you guys," but then they're like, "Hey, we're rolling audio. You can't do that." So there was a lot of those, and it was really cool for me because of coming from music videos, which I always said kind of play like silent movies. I was able to kind of go in and do this and like kind of coach them through and give them until we finally get that one image that's just like it's perfect. And I do shoot with a cinema camera. I still don't shoot stills. Everything is captured in motion and then turned into stills and then rotoscope into illustrations. So everything is still very live action and live feeling, and it kind of goes back to that vintage Disney style and kind of creating that aesthetic that feels real. So like yes, like sitting there, I was like, okay, you gotta imagine this, you gotta imagine that your dead sister, you haven't seen her forever. And then eventually what happens is you'll see that spark, the same way that you see a spark when you shoot anything in the actor, and you see them live that through that moment. And you go, there it is, cut we're good. We're good. That's all we needed, and that's kind of the beauty of doing paper movies as well, is that you're really shooting for that moment, and that moment is going to carry for 3 pages, opposed to whenever you're shooting like a film. Somebody can have an amazing facial expression, they can have an amazing tone of voice, and then if they drop the ball, or someone drops the ball, or say something bigger happens within the next minute, you forget that amazing moment that the actors had. And there were so many times I was going back and looking at their stills and just impressed with their ability to kind of convey. I mean, for example, Allie was in the scene for. I mean, you were in the one chapter. You know, like your character's in the one chapter, and so many reviews kept talking about the relationship between Kara and Harker, and it was amazing to me because like you see like Kara for like 2 frames, but it's still like people walked away feeling something from it and feeling the connection between the sisters, and it's really because of the fact that in that scene you see Thomas's performance where they are glaring in fear, leaning against a tree, looking at their dead sister, and then it cuts and you see the solemn but yet loving. Like it was a very interesting facial expression. I can't even begin to explain what's going on. And then you were also working the paint. You know, she had a full face paint of clown makeup. So like working through that as well, it was just incredibly inspiring. And there's, you know, and I'll kind of conclude with this because I can go on. I can talk quick. But like I think one of the things that for me, whenever I first got into filmmaking and I was working with Mark Mayer, frequent collaborator, uh, amazing producer. He's worked on some very, very huge things, including Halsey's last movie. And we got started together. We were doing this short film, and I remember we were trying to talk or something. We had an actor do something, and right when they did it, we both started squealing. We were like, ah, you know, like losing our minds to each other. And it was like that moment that was like, oh my god, because the reason why is we saw it come to life. For that second, we saw it come to life, and that's something that I haven't experienced in so long until working with these two in Cult of Carnival. And there would be those moments where they would literally like I would read my words and then see them bring it to life. Especially with also Mitchell Fink, the art director, creating so many of these amazing sets, and just his entire team of Twisted Whisker, they just created some of the coolest visuals that I could ever imagine shooting around. And kind of, and I won't speak for you guys as actors, but I can tell you just being on those sets, like there's nothing like being in that world that makes you feel like you're a part of that world. And I think that that's kind of what we did with Colt, and I'm very very proud of it.
Y- Yes, you know, Jaden, can you hear me?
Yes,
Can you hear me?
yes I can.
Yes. Yes, I want to ask you. I remember there was a television series on HBO called Carnival, and also if you are familiar with American Horror Stories, there was a complete season with Jessica Lange taking place in a carnival. You know, and speaking of silent films, maybe you have seen a classic film. You know, I think it. I don't remember if it was a Tokyo or silent called Freaks. You remember seeing this film? It's a black and white film from the 20s or 30s. I saw it once on Turner Classic Network, you know. And it's about people, you know, sometimes circus and carnivals, they have people that suffered from, birth, birth, problem, they might have like 3 eyes or something like that, you know. But I want to ask you, why do you think the setting of a carnival, is a very interesting location for an author like you to create stories and to create characters, that are, suspenseful sometimes, can generate horrors. Why do you think the circus and the carnival is perfect to start to create these kind of characters?
Okay. So I actually have tons to say on it, but I don't want to overtalk things. So do you guys want to talk a little bit about, because I mean you guys work directly with Mitchell Fink a lot on a lot of his stuff. So how do you feel about creating carnival style characters and stuff, kind of living within that world and that stuff?
Um,
I don't know. It's kind of a really difficult question for me to answer. I think the thing that I like most about carnival characters and stuff is that historically people who were in carnival, like freak shows and everything, like no one really wanted to, I guess, associate with them except other kids. And
Raise your voice a little bit. It's coming from another word.
sorry, I should talk louder. Um, Basically, I guess I can put a lot of what I relate to into these characters, because they're so like, what's the word I'm looking for?
They're one of the things that I really appreciated that Tommy has said in the past whenever I first started working with them is that they said one of the things that they were interested in the most with creating these types of characters and not just trying to talk for you, you know, but it's something that you did mention to me and I really appreciated was the idea that it was cathartic to live within these characters. You know, we all have something that's a little different inside of us. We all have something that's very obtuse and eccentric. And to be able to kind of jump into that and portray that physically and be able to show that physically, it can be very therapeutic and letting go of some of the stresses and problems that you have in these types of things. And that was one of the things you said to me in the first documentary that we did, is that within creating these kinds of characters, you can be the person that you want to be on the inside opposed to who you have to portray. You can almost be an amplified version of a mental health problem that you're dealing with and these types of things. And I thought that was really, really cool. Um, Allie, you play a clown character quite frequently, actually. So, and a carnival barker, which was a big inspiration for her character in Cult. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
I love the whole carnival scene. I really am into like the carnies and the carnivals and stuff like that. And working with Mitchell Fink is very fun because it's he knows a lot about the carnies, and I feel like I get to learn more than what I do from him, and it's really fun. I would love to talk carny with him one day. I don't think we've ever had the chance to do that yet,
it's a
but
rabbit hole.
but
It is a rabbit hole.
but actually getting to work on Cult of Carnival and being in that setting, it really felt to me, and I always say actors about this all the time. It felt like we were a bunch of carnies getting ready for a show or winding down after a show, and it was just exhilarating to feel like I was really a carny, and I do it working at a haunted attraction. I'm also a carnival barker, and it's very fun for me. I very much enjoy the carnival clown type characters. So getting to work on a book about Cult of Carnival is very fun.
So for me, like I got started in the professional wrestling world. That was a big thing for me as a kid coming up into that, and then stepping into the independent world. And a lot of people don't know that professional wrestling began in the carnivals. Like that's where it started with the strongmen. They would fix matches with people until eventually there was somebody who got hurt, and then they were like, well, let's just fix matches against each other. And then that's where professional wrestling really came from. So, but you'll hear something while working in professional wrestling a lot. They'll say that's very carny. You're being carny, and they even speak carny, but they're like, but they say it's very carny. And what they mean by that is it can be very dastardly. It can be very two-faced. It can hurt you. It can be a double-sided sword. Very sharp tongue. You can never trust people. And that's kind of the thing that like in learning with Mitchell Fink, whenever we started working together, he talked a lot about carnival stuff, and I talked a lot about the correlation between that and professional wrestling. And then that really inspired kind of this story because one, I fell in love with carnival stuff because of Mitch. He has this vision for things that he can take stuff and make it come to life right in front of you that you just really didn't believe could exist. And a lot of times in a visual effects world that we live in now, where you don't see the bells and whistles until post, to actually be able to see these things come to life right before you, and Mitch creates these things with his hands. It's absolutely amazing. So I've been honestly having a really, really great time, just learning more from him and kind of building on top of that. And then like it's the same thing, like bringing Thomas in and having Thomas be that character that was been left by the carnival, and kind of at the same time watching them have to deal with that and deal with that heartbreak of being alone because that is something that carnivals would do. Mitch actually taught me about how carnivals would actually come in and steal carnival workers and then take everybody that mattered onto their carnival and then leave the remains there. And then sometimes you have three carnival workers wake up and they're just there with a bunch of random stuff like, oh, there's an elephant trailer with no elephant anymore. Here is a this with nobody on it. There's nobody this. It's just me and three pieces of machinery and what happened. And that happens so many times in the carnival world. And as you asked, I watched the American Horror Story one. I was very interested in that. I did watch Vale, Vale. I will never know how to say that word. But I did watch that show years ago whenever I worked at a video store and I stole it. I didn't mean to steal it. They were like, "You can take this home," and I was so awkward. I was like, "Okay," I didn't check it out or nothing. I was just like, "I guess I'll take this home."
Yes. Yes. You know, Jaden, do you think the Cult of Carnival is could be adapted into a movie or a television series? Given it's already there because it has the characters, the stories, and also your vision as a filmmaker as well.
Yeah, we toyed with that notion a lot. Something that I actually talked to my wife about quite frequently. Um, I'll say this: if somebody wants to convert any of my paper movies into a full motion picture, be it television, be it anything, I'm there, and I would love to see that happen. I would love to consult on it. I don't want to do it, me personally, and that could be very much of the Bill Watterson in me, which he created Calvin and Hobbes. I I just want to make paper movies at this point. I'm fulfilled by doing it, and the more that I can continue to do it and pump more of these out and keep doing it, I'm having fun. I'm living my dream kind of thing. And if I get to see it up on the silver screen or on the TV screen, I'm not against it. I'm not going to say like, hey, don't do it. That's kind of what the difference between the Bill Watterson effect and myself is that I don't mind if I get to see that one day. But for me personally, I just also have to say like I don't want to do it. The stress of making a movie, I've made a movie. I've worked on studio movies and stuff like that. And by the end of it, literally, I don't know a single person who has ever made a movie and at the end of it didn't feel like they had just went through the worst experience of their life. Like they all go, "Oh my God, I'm so glad this is over." No one can remember the good stuff that happened. They all just go, "I remember when everything hit the fan every day." Like people only walk away hating these things, in my experience. And I didn't do that with this paper movie. I walked away just absolutely obsessed with them as performers and was just like, we got to work together again. I've got to put you guys in another thing. It was amazing. Like literally, like Ali was talking about that amazing time. And I'm not going to try to speak for myself, but I try to run a fun set. Like, was it fun? Like, that's awesome. Yeah. Like, I try to do that because I've been on so many sets where it's just not fun. And I love film. Like I said, I love film and I love watching movies about film and I love the industry and I love to be adjacent. EP all day, executive producer all day. Like that's in the world of filmmaking. That's where I want to be now as an EP. I just want to pop up on set and just be like, that's really cool. And I like how you changed my identity. Like, I'm excited to do that.
So I want you and the three of you to tell me about your upcoming projects, what you are working on next.
Okay. You have anything you want to talk about?
Oh, well, I am gonna be,
Yeah, raise your voice. You are whispering.
oh,
This is their first interview, by the way. They don't
Great,
know.
great, great. This is.
I'm gonna be featured in the main comic book magazine. They're doing like a little piece on my work on Cult of Carnival, like what I think about the movie and everything. So I'm really, really excited for you guys to see that. We did a really, really killer photo shoot with it.
Yes.
Actually, that's something like we didn't get a chance to even mention, but they designed their entire, dress for the photo shoot. Like they do costumes and everything like that. They're a big costume designer at Panic Point, which is a very very successful haunt out here in North Carolina, and they kill that every single year. Um, so yeah, like I'm excited for that. I got to do the photo shoot, so some of the best images I've ever done. Good luck getting a bad image of this person. It is incredibly difficult. Um, but
projects, but I was actually on the first cover of Hollywood, which is very funny. There are a little photos of me.
Yes.
I signed my own dress. But
You look fantastic too, though.
thank you, thank you, thank you. It was definitely fun and to get the little interview about our insight on Cult of Carnival. Yeah, and acting as a whole too. That was
So I have them signed for, um, like I said, five paper movies, three paper movies, and we are working on a bunch of ideas right now. So there is one that's really big that's been shot. We were just kind of workshopping where we're going to take that. One of the fun things about silent is very similar to silent pictures is that you can shoot some images
Hmm.
and rework the script later, which is what's happened with a friend of mine, Andy Schrock. Not to just randomly name drop him, but he is the star of this paper movie, and we had shot it a while back, and like I was still trying to get this idea going on how paper movies were. I didn't want to drop the ball. He is an incredibly successful, amazing actor. I love him to death, and he has been in like countless things, and also millions of subscribers on YouTube. And if you've never watched his stuff, he makes really really fun content. And I worked with him on this, and the idea just wasn't completely there yet. So we both agreed, let's just sit on it, let's wait until the right story comes across. And so I rebuilt the story, and now we're going to be shooting more scenes, bringing them into it, and kind of really getting like a really big thing on it. And so that's kind of the next project we're working on. But we're still kind of not sure the direction of that yet. But it is definitely something that's in the works.
Great. I want to thank you very much for this great interview. I wish you all the best on your upcoming projects, and I wish you all the best on the distribution and the marketing of Cult of Carnival. I hope it could be adapted into another medium. I think a movie or a television series, because the characters are very interesting, and it's very adaptable to a movie nowadays, or a nice television series. And I'm seeing that the line between television and streaming and movies has been blurred already, and all the production values are quite maybe the same right now. I mean, digital cameras and post production. I mean, yeah, you can watch a television series and you feel even it is shot in widescreen like a movie. So I thank you very much for coming to the live. I wish you all the best. I hope you come back again when you have another project to announce.
Absolutely will. Yeah, that sounds like fun.
Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of the day.
All right, we'll do. Yes. Goodbye,
Take care.
everybody.
Take care.
This
Bye.
is the
Bye.
first
Bye.
interview,
Bye.
so awesome.
Great,
Thanks so
great,
much for your
great.
time.
Yeah, yeah, this is great. My pleasure as well. Thank you very much. Take care. Have a lovely day. Take care.